Anyway, my point is, um, if my parents tell me something, like a truthy statement, my belief in it doesn't go from wherever it was before they told me to 100%. No, it just increases by some amount. That's how it works.
Of course, that's what induction is. So you can either come to a
No, it's not.
strong or weak conclusion. Yeah, induction equals strong or weak. It doesn't equal absolute certainty. That's what's wrong with your scientific method. You start with induction, but the problem that you're not realizing is once you perform experiment, now you're doing deduction, which does lead to certainty.
Sora, when you perform an experiment, how is it that you absorb the information?
There's many ways.
Give me one example of an experiment in which you absorb information.
You can do the water, add heat to water and it boils.
Excellent. Okay, so you see the water boil, right?
Yes,
How do you know you can trust what you see?
I can have someone else verify that as well.
How do you know that in addition to being able to trust what you see, that you can
I
trust
know
your
that. Do you want me to
excuse
tell
me.
you how? Do you
Excuse
want
me.
me to tell you how I know I can
Excuse me.
trust what I see? Because I can
Excuse
tell
me. I
you
wasn't done
clearly and
talking.
concise. I'll tell you
Excuse me.
clearly and concisely
Sir,
how I know I
stop
can
blowing
trust
your
what.
load all
No,
over me.
your first
Please,
question
stop it.
was
Stop it.
how
I
do
was
I know
talking.
that?
Excuse me.
Let's,
Stop blowing your
dude,
load. Let
stop.
me finish
You
my
asked
statement.
me a question. You
Stop
asked me a question.
blowing your load all over me. So my
You asked
question
me a
was,
question, bro.
my
You asked me a
question was,
question, so I'm
excuse
gonna
me.
go ahead and finish my
Excuse
answer
me.
real
Stop
quick.
blowing your load all over me.
Charlie, dude,
I've
you're
been
gonna
trying
get
my
muted,
best to
bro.
I've been trying my
You're gonna
best to
get
not
muted.
interrupt you. Why are you interrupting
Okay,
me?
I'm not interrupting. You asked me a question. How can I trust what I'm seeing? I'm going to give you that answer
You already answered that.
clearly and concisely. God, the creator of all things, the necessary reference point for all intelligibility, created me with senses that he gave to me and told me and shown me that these senses are accurate and that I can trust in these senses to a certain extent. And when it comes to seeing water boil, I can trust my senses on that.
Okay, now you gave me two distinct answers. Which one would you like me to answer? Because first you told me you can ask somebody else, right? And now you're telling me I trust my senses because God gave them to me. Which one would you like me to
Correct.
answer?
The latter.
Okay, well, I'm a scientist and an engineer, and I don't engage with fairy tales, so I can't rebut what you're saying,
I'm
right?
sorry, sir, but you don't have
I
the,
will
and
say
you
that what
don't
you're
have,
saying is the same thing that a schizophrenic would say, right? It's true because
no,
God
sir.
told me.
No, sir. What you're saying is what a schizophrenic person says, because if you look into it, solipsism is stated in medical science as the precursor to schizophrenia. So
We went
you're
over this.
literally in the version of schizophrenia. You're about to be there. To say that God doesn't exist and is a fairy tale, then you, sir, are going to have to explain in your materialistic, naturalistic, atheistic worldview how knowledge is made possible, how the laws of logic are made possible, and the uniformity of nature is made
I don't have to do
possible,
that.
because none of those exist materialistically or naturally, nor do you have an explanation for consciousness.
I don't have to do that at all.
You're done. Then you don't have a worldview that can explain what makes knowledge possible. Therefore, you don't know anything, and you don't even know if knowledge exists.
No, I just presuppose it does, just like how you presuppose that God exists.
Yeah, you can't. If you just do a presupposition, then you don't have any reason for it. You have no justification for your presupposition, so we
Correct.
can hand wave dismiss it away and say, Charlie, listen, you're a solipsist, and if you were really logical, that you came to the conclusion, I think, therefore I am, and that's all I can know, and you came to that physical conclusion at that point because of logic, then you would logically deduce at that point that you shouldn't open your mouth because you'll look like a crazy person, because now you're possibly engaging with yourself this whole time.
Why are you implying that you don't have a presupposition?
That dude, what are you talking about? Your presuppositional belief is I think therefore I am, and everybody in the world acknowledges they're not their thoughts. So what are you?
Are you going to answer my question?
Are you your thoughts? Is that what you think?
Are you going to answer my question?
What presuppositions am I implying?
That God exists.
I can give you the argument for why God exists, because without the necessary reference point for intelligibility, knowledge can't
Oh
exist.
God,
Since we do
you're
have
a preacher.
knowledge, therefore, there is a necessary, ultimate, non-contingent place where all intelligibility comes from. It's impossible otherwise to make sense for knowledge to be the case.
Bro, I know the presuppositional game. You're not gonna win on this one. What's
It's not a
the?
game. It's
This
not
is
a
the
game, bro.
fucking
You're
talking point.
done. You're done. You're already done
Sure.
because you can't refute
No,
this
excuse me.
argument with
Excuse me.
logic.
Excuse me. Your presupposition is that God exists, and by the way, your assertion that logic can only exist with the existence of God is a supposition in and of itself. You're
Okay,
using
then
it to
go ahead and
justify
give
the existence
another
of God,
reason.
which is circular. Which is there's nothing inherently wrong with that. By the way, my presupposition that like logic exists is at some level circular. It has to be.
Go ahead
All
and give your
presuppositions are.
explanation.
I don't have to. It's a
Give your
presupposition.
explanation. Yeah,
By
give an
definition, presuppositions
explanation.
are
No,
unjustified.
so you don't have justification. I have justification because
No,
I
you
can
don't.
make sense
You
of the
claim you do.
world. I can make sense of the world. You don't even know that reality exists outside of your mind.
Correct.
Yeah,
You
that's a
don't either.
problem, bro. That's the step that leads to schizophrenia. You can look it up. Go to a psychologist and ask them, dude.
Do you think that schizophrenic people exist?
Of course they do.
Do you think that schizophrenic people that truly do believe that what they're seeing is real exists?
Yes, of course.
How do you know you're not one of them?
How do I know I'm not a schizophrenic person? That's what
Mm-hmm.
you're asking me?
Yes.
So you're saying, how do I know that my base reality is so far off from other people's reality that you would classify me as a schizophrenic?
Yes.
Okay. I would have to appeal to consensus.
But can't you, as a schizophrenic, imagine that consensus? Like,
No,
can't the
what are you
consensus
talking
be
about? So every single
like? Okay, so
you're
I'll
at
put it
the
a different
point
way.
you're at the point that you can't.
Like, do you think there are schizophrenic people that not only are they schizophrenic, but they hallucinate all these people telling them that they're not schizophrenic? Do those people exist?
n-
What?
No, no.
Okay.
Schizophrenic people understand that they are schizophrenic.
You
My
don't think that
father-in-law is
schizophrenic?
schizophrenic.
No, no, no.
They
That's not what I'm
they
saying.
know that there's something wrong
Stop
inside of their
misrepresenting what I
mind.
said. Stop
Yeah,
misrepresenting what I
well,
said.
you don't understand
Stop
schizophrenia.
misrepresenting
Maybe
what I
you
said.
are schizophrenic. I don't know.
There,
Do you know that you're schizophrenic or
don't
not?
misrepresent what I said. Okay, just because there are
You're
schizophrenic
coming
people.
at me with
Excuse
loaded
me.
questions,
Excuse
dude.
me. Excuse me.
When are you
Just
going to come
because.
out to your
Excuse
mom
me.
that you're gay,
Excuse.
Charlie?
Really? We're gonna allow this shit, dude?
That's
Your mom
a
is
loaded
doing this
question.
shit?
That's what you're asking me. You're
Torah,
asking me for a
Torah,
loaded
you're so
question.
unable to like not interrupt me that you have to resort to like calling me gay?
No, I gave you a
Really?
demonstration
And
of a
all
loaded
cucked
question.
moths just stand there
No,
and
no,
like
no,
take
no.
it
Hey,
like
hey,
little
let's be
boys?
clear.
Bro,
Let's be
you're the
clear,
one
Matt.
that
He's
talked
not
about
calling you gay. He's
going
giving you an
loads 10
example
times.
of a loaded statement. That's all.
Loaded
So
statement. You
it's
said
not loaded
you
at
talking about
all.
loads, bro.
He's saying that I believe that all schizophrenics are also delusional. That's what he's saying.
You
Of
believe you're
course, there
not
are
interrupting
schizophrenics that are.
people.
Of course, there are
Do you
schizophrenics that are
really
not
think you're
delusional.
not interrupting? Like, you know I'm interrupting you right now, right? But do you really think you're not interrupting? Are you that mental?
I try my best not to interrupt, and I feel like
That's
I've actually been
bullshit.
doing a pretty good job here.
You've interrupted everyone multiple times, even Jeremy, like multiple times.
All right,
And then complain about being interrupted and then call people mental because they don't agree with you. So they must be mental, and then get mad when someone makes an example of a loaded question, you announcing that you're gay.
Are you done interrupting my conversation with Torah?
Are you done trying to control me? Because that won't work. I promise you that dog don't hunt.
All right,
See, we know the tactics now. I'll let you know when I'm done. You're smart enough to know when I'm done because I'm going to go on mute. Watch.
Okay, sit down.
Sit
I
down. You piece of
100%
shit.
knew.
See, that right there should be muted right there. Sit down, huh? Like you think you're just all power over everyone. You're that mental. You are schizophrenic, whatever that means. If it's a mental condition, That's you, by telling people to sit down and not saying they're misrepresenting you when you're actually projecting. You're misrepresenting them. Telling them that they're interrupting you when you're projecting. You're actually the one interrupting. That's a mental state, sir. Asking someone when they're done, when they clearly said they'll be done when they go on mute, and then say, good, sit down. That's a mental issue.
Yo, I'm doing this for your benefit, Charlie. I'd be super careful, bro, with the train of thought pattern that you're going down because it is not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle. People with this train of thought, as they get older
now
and
it's been
older,
like 3
develop
minutes
things
now
like
since
schizophrenia,
you both interrupted me.
dementia. Dude, 100%. I'm
Just
100%
interrupted him.
certain you're interrupting me right now. Are you 100% certain that you're interrupting me?
I've been waiting for 3 minutes now for me to be able to point out.
No, you
again,
haven't.
He doesn't
No, you
even know
haven't.
that
You-
he's
you-
interrupting, dude. He knows
Yeah,
nothing.
how do you even know what 3 minutes is, dude? You can't even count. That was like a minute and a half, maybe.
Can I continue? Okay. Why is it that you're strawmanning my representation of schizophrenic people? There are obviously schizophrenic people that are not delusional, and that there are also schizophrenic people that are delusional. Do you recognize the existence of those?
Prove it. Prove it.
Hold on.
You need me
He's
to
making a
prove to you
claim,
that
dude. That's crazy.
You need me to prove to you that schizophrenic people exist?
Go ahead. No, just prove your claim. You said there are
You're not allowed
schizophrenic
to make
people that are
positive claims, bro.
delusional, and you said schizophrenic people that are non-delusional. Please prove your claim.
Okay. So I just need to prove both parts of that, right? You just said you had a family member that was schizophrenic and is not delusional, so that proves that. Now I just have to demonstrate to you that schizophrenic people that are delusional exist, right? Like, ergo,
Go ahead.
schizophrenic
Go ahead.
people.
Okay, go ahead. Prove it.
Are there schizophrenic people
No. Listen.
that are delusional?
It is literally 15 hours. 15 hours later, this nigga is still on the same argument he was on 15 hours ago.
Okay, medical news today. Actually, 90% of people with schizophrenia are also delusional. Okay. So it seems like the majority of them are.
Okay, that's very vague. Can you go ahead and explain what kind of delusional you're talking about?
So a delusion is a belief that is not rational. That it's like so. Like for example, so I could be schizophrenic and believe that the radio's and hear the radio talking to me, right? But if I'm not delusional, I recognize, okay, I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia and the radio's talking to me. The radio's probably not actually talking to me, and it's just my head. Okay, that's me demonstrating that I'm not delusional.
Okay, can you demonstrate a schizophrenic person that has that belief system?
Excuse me, I wasn't done talking.
No, fuck you.
If I hear the radio talking to me and I go, holy shit, the radio is talking to me, Charlie, directly, and it's telling me to go pick up a knife and stab people, right? That is me not only being schizophrenic, but it's me being delusional, okay? Do you agree that delusional schizophrenic people exist?
Do you have an example of people that, of the other side of that coin?
Which side? Can you be more specific?
Yeah, when you say that there's people that can recognize they have schizophrenia, so when they hear the voices in the radio, then they are like, oh no, they're not talking to me because I have schizophrenia. I know how to make my mind.
Have you ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind that's based on a real life person?
Oh, we did a movie. Oh my god.
Wow, so so far you've used Google, which is using a vague definition of delusional that you're not even sure of the context of that article because you literally just read one sentence out of it.
You asked me to produce to you an example of a schizophrenic people that's not delusional, and I'm naming somebody.
I don't know if you understand what based on means, but I could just write a whole movie and say this is based on my life, and it doesn't have to involve anything that happened in my life except like one little thing. Like me waking up in the morning.
Literally, you could have John Nash. You could have John Nash just winning the medal and having a bout with psychosis. Like those could be the only things that actually fucking happen. And then you write this whole fucking movie where he like creates fucking characters in his head, and then people like you actually believe that shit. And then 20 years later try to represent it to me as fact as if I didn't watch that movie in the fucking theaters back in 1997. Fuck out of here.
All right. So you asked me for an example of somebody who's schizophrenic and non-delusional, and I name the guy who the movie A Beautiful Mind was based upon. And for some reason, you take issue with that. Why do you take issue with that?
I don't know that guy.
Fucking Hollywood.
Anyway, can you back it up with something?
Hold on, I have to name somebody who you personally know? What the fuck is this
No,
impossible
I'm
standard of
asking you
evidence?
to I just asked you to provide a citation for that.
Okay, so John Forbes Nash. Here's his Wikipedia page, I guess.
To say he was a non-delusional schizophrenic.
Yes. I sent it to you directly. You know somebody else who's schizophrenic? You know that YouTube channel, Special Books for Special Kids? They have somebody that's a non-delusional schizophrenic there as well, right? But it's like an interview they do with this girl, and she tells you, like, yeah, right now on the wall there's like a giant spider, right? And it's terrifying, but I know it's not real. Like that's what a non-delusional schizophrenic is. Again, but the point of my question was, do you understand that delusional schizophrenics exist?
Yeah, it's possible I might be talking to one.
Okay, how do you know you're not one? I'm not saying you are.
I already told you because I know what grounds my reality. I understand my belief system. I understand my worldview. I can make coherency from my worldview. I can understand why the laws of logic exist in the first place. You don't have any explanation for any of that. You say, and then you claim those are all presuppositions on your part. No, I've justified the presuppositions.
Do you not?
He has a foundation.
Do you not understand that there are delusional schizophrenics that also think that their beliefs are justified?
Okay, go ahead
In
and
their
show
own
me
mind?
one. Go ahead and present the evidence.
Hold on. Are you saying that if I do present one, that you will acknowledge the point that you could be one of them?
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I need you to agree. Like, if I
You
can
need me to
demonstrate
agree.
to
You need me to agree that I am schizophrenic after
No.
you present evidence of this.
No, don't strawman me. I'm saying that if I can demonstrate to you that there are delusional schizophrenics who don't believe that they're schizophrenic because they, in their own mind, justify their own worldview, that there is a chance that you could be one of them. That's
How
what I'm
would
trying to
that
get you to agree.
person? How would have that person been diagnosed with schizophrenia?
Can you imagine like using schizophrenics as your argument while also basically behaving in schizophrenic like behavior?
Yeah, you know that I think, therefore I
Truly,
am is begging the question. Do you know that?
Not really.
Yeah, you're begging on the I.
Uh,
You haven't even justified the I yet. You haven't even justified self. Like, I don't even know why you need the vat or the
All right,
brain.
bro.
You don't need any of that. For all you know, you're a goldfish in a freaking tank, bro. Having a dream.
All right, bro. All
There
right,
you
I'm
go.
tired of this. This is too bad faith for me.
Goodbye.
You're
So
done. You're
I did
done.
look up whether solipsism is considered a symptom of schizophrenia, and it said that extreme solipsism is a pathological condition. Now, what's
I
extreme?
feel like this
What's
was the argument
extreme
I made
solipsism?
last night. This is like very dangerous thinking that could cause someone to go mad,
Yeah, this
especially
is
in the
how
wrong
you
hands.
definitely. This is how you end up with little children thinking they're different sexes. This is how you end up
Yep.
with society collapsing. These are all the things that attribute to your worldview. You don't understand, in order to perform any science, they first had to have those presuppositions. And you don't think philosophy was all over those presuppositions and justifying them? Like, dude, are you kidding me? Study some epistemology and ontology, bro. But I mean, why even bother? Because what would you like? Is that even real,
He
or
has
is that
no,
all just
but
a figment
he
of your
has no
imagination?
he has no epistemological confidence. He has an irrational doubt of epistemology to the point where, and I talked about this last night, that now he has an irrational fear of logic to the point where he's become an extreme solipsist, and it's considered a pathological condition. It is. He's
Yeah, I hope you
denying it
get help,
like it's
bro.
not
I
a
really do.
pathological condition.
Yeah, I believe God can fix that. So I'd definitely ask your creator to show you how to fix you, bro.
But I'm not surprised when you don't have a strong foundation, something to stand on, right? You'll just fall, infinitely fall. You know, you don't know what's true and what's not true. Everything's a construct. Everything's a simulation. You're in a dream. You know, nothing's real except yourself. That's it.
And then he tries to invoke that he has a worldview, yet he doesn't even know if the world exists outside of his mind. So, what kind of possible worldview do you have? And then he just accepts presuppositions. He's like, I just have those presuppositions. Yeah, dude, that's ridiculous. So, you borrow from worldviews that are not your own because you don't have one, you can't even obtain one, and then you apply those to whatever you're doing, which might just be you talking to yourself for all you know.
But I'm not the
We're
one
all
coming up with this
apparitions
either.
within your
Like,
head.
shout out to Gio, but Gio did post a couple links last night regarding neuroscientists, philosopher, and psychiatrist who basically, when he evaluated Descartes, considered him schizophrenic. It's in the chat. I posted it. His name's Ian McGilchrist, which is an interesting name. McGilchrist.
Ian McGilchrist is not a neuroscientist.
So
It says it right there, though. I don't know if he's
So-
not, but it says philosopher and neuroscientist.
I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab all of you.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, fuck it. I'm sharpening the knife now. It's over now.
You don't.
Get a vote here. I think all the points have been stretched out.
I recommend that everyone examine their senses, their mind, their thoughts, their emotions, and their memories and realize that they're fallible, just like Riggs admitted last time.
Nobody go down this rabbit hole. It was already done way better than they're doing it 15 fucking years ago with a video called "What the Bleep Do We Know." I mean, go watch that and at least learn how to grift on this topic before you try to grift on it.
Yeah,
by the way, Osco, he'd address me. I'm just going to respond real quick. My worldview includes fallibility and certainty. Yours only includes fallibility. So mine is a mixture of both. I'm not taking the extreme position.
Yeah, but you've admitted that your discernment is also fallible, so you can't know when you're discerning the correct thing or the wrong thing.
All or nothing fallacy. All or nothing.
This is like I said. Yeah,
they always do. They always commit fallacy, bro. It's crazy. Even the definest fallacy, bro. Like, why can't we agree on a definition of solipsism? Why is it such a big debate? We can't even agree on that. You can't even know that for it to be a fact. You literally know nothing, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, why would you have a proper definition of solipsism as a solipsist? And don't you agree, Asko? You've said it, because I agree with you. We are fallible. There is fallibility in the world, no doubt. But you agree that you are not your thoughts, right?
I agree you are not your thoughts.
Okay, then why would you take the proposition, I think, therefore I am, as what you are?
I didn't say I think, therefore I am, and that's who I am.
Well, that's the position a solipsist holds. That's what we can know for certain, right?
What you can know for certain is that you're currently having a conscious experience. And you could even whittle it down more from there. All you can really know for absolute certainty is that a conscious experience is happening right now.
Okay, and then how did you come to that conclusion?
It's the only self-evident fact that I've ever come across.
Okay, did you think it? Is it a thought of yours?
It's a thought and it's an experience.
It's a thought of yours. So then how from a thought, I thought you aren't your thoughts. So now you are your experiences?
Do you know the difference between like a thought, an experience, and like a perception?
Yeah, I'd love to know where all that transfers. I ask that question all the time. Where does sensation turn to perception?
Well, that's the whole point, is that you can break down the way that you interact with the world and receive the world and experience the world is through sensations, through thoughts, through emotions, through memories, so on and so forth. And you can literally examine all of those piece by piece close and realize, hey, do I know that those are representing reality accurately? No, I do not know that any of those are representing reality accurately ever. Can I always distinguish when they're not representing reality accurately? No, I cannot always distinguish when they're not representing reality accurately. Therefore, I can't know things with absolute certainty except for that a conscious experience is happening at this moment.
Yeah, if that's even happening. I mean, you don't know that. You could be all basing all of this and you're saying I'm having experience and thoughts, but what is experience to someone who can't know things? How do you know you're having an experience? You can't know that you're having an experience. You might be starting off on a false premise and saying I'm experiencing things. That could be wrong. How do you even know
Yeah,
that?
this is
Yeah,
this is
that
the
helps.
breakdown in
That
logic,
helps
though.
his case.
When you add the I, yes, that does begin to break down. But if a conscious experience is happening, that's a self-evident thing happening. That doesn't need
Where is it
knowledge.
self-evident? You would have to observe that somewhere.
Yes, you observe it.
Where?
What do you mean where?
Where do you observe this?
It doesn't have
It
a
just
spatial
breaks down,
location,
dude.
dude.
It just breaks down to absurdity.
It
This
doesn't
is
break. There's nothing
see,
absurd about that. It's
you
completely
literally
coherent.
can't answer that, bro. You literally can't answer that. You have no foundation to stand on.
Wait,
Where did you come up with this
think that an
idea?
experience happens in space? Is that what you think?
Wait, what are you talking about? Does an experience happen in space? It doesn't
You're
have
asking
to.
him where.
Yeah, I am. I'm asking. I
What do you
didn't
think
say
that
that it
means?
doesn't. It's not restricted to space. There's other places. So where is it happening for you?
Okay, other
I'm not
places, it means
materialist, so it's not
space.
happening anywhere.
Experiences aren't happening anywhere. Is that correct? Is that your
But
statement?
my experience does not have a physical location. No.
Because you're not certain if the experience outside of your mind is an experience that is outside of your mind or not.
I don't know if I'm experiencing reality as it is. I don't know if I'm the fish in the bowl or the brain in the vat or anything like that. I think that I'm experiencing reality as it is. Like, I'm pretty damn confident of that. But all I know is that a conscious experience is happening in this moment. It's completely self-evident upon examination, but people don't want to actually examine themselves or their experiences. They just want to ruminate stuff. If I think really hard about something in the exact right way, if I ruminate correctly, if I research in the exact right way and watch the correct YouTube videos, then out the other side, truth's going to come out, and I'm going to tie a little bow around it, and I'm going to have this truth thing I carry around town and tell everyone, look at this absolute truth I have. That's just not the way reality works.
That's not even true. That's not even true, though. You're basing your premise off this whole idea based on something you've heard in reality and the outside world, and then you've come to the conclusion and went, "I agree with that." Someone told you this. You
I
didn't
have
even
a
come
little
to
bit.
this on your own.
I
I have a
came
little
to
bit.
solipsism on my own, yeah.
I have a little bit of input. If it's okay. Just
Hold
one
on,
sec.
hold on one second, RJ. I have one more question for him. What is securing that experience? Why is there uniformity in that experience? Why is there laws in that experience? Why is the metaphysical exist and in that experience?
There's not always uniformity in your experience. If you actually observe your experiences and go through life with mindfulness, you will see that there's not always uniformity or logical progression in it.
So science is impossible then in your worldview. There's no truth to science. There's no truth to mathematics. There's no truth to inductive reasoning. There's no truth to logic. There's no truth to any of that.
I would say it's possible for all intents and purposes, but whether or not science can prove things is like uninteresting to me. So I'm not like,
Okay,
fighting for science or mathematics.
let me explain it in a simpler way for you. Do you agree that when you get into a car now, you're not near as concerned as you were the first time you got into a car? Like, you're much more confident in your driving skills at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Before
do
we
you
gotta, we
agree?
gotta give some space for RG at some point. I just want to remind you.
Okay, I will. This will be my last point. So, do you agree that came because of the uniformity?
Yes.
Okay, there is uniformity. That's my last point. Thanks.
In reality, as we experience it in day-to-day life, yes.
Thank you guys. Yep. I just jumped in. From
Go for it.
I haven't heard a bunch. I did remember this is kind of where we left off last night. Yeah. So I used to say, oh, there's a happy medium. You can balance everything if it's dualistic, right? Kind of like everything is, and you can find that happy medium. I mean, I do see groups of people, such as certain groups of monks that isolate themselves from these societal elements. This is a good example of how to force yourself through repetition to come to some kind of balance. I don't know exactly the definition of solipsism. I remember hearing it last night. If someone could kind of repeat that to me, I'll get straight to my point.
There's different versions of solipsism. Generally, like what Charlie's advocating, what I'm advocating for is that you can't have absolute knowledge of anything.
So here it is. Solipsism is the philosophical idea that only one's own mind is certain to exist. It holds that knowledge of anything outside one's own mind is uncertain, and that the external world, including other people, might not exist independently. Hold on a second, though, because let me just read this whole definition, right? There are two main types: metaphysical solipsism. the belief that only the self exists and everything else is an illusion or creation of the mind. And then there's epistemological solipsism, the idea that one can only be certain of their own thoughts and experiences, but not necessarily that the
Which
external
one
world
do you
doesn't
think we
exist. So every
believe?
single one of these includes, right, that only the self is certain, only the self exists. Each
Which
one
one
has a
do you think we
definition.
believe?
Now hold on. While solipsism is primarily a psychological concept, extreme or rigid belief in it can sometimes be associated with mental health conditions, particularly those involving delusions.
Which one do you think we believe?
Hold on, it's my turn to answer a question. When we say self, it could be very, very enveloping, very broad, very grand, right? Self could mean individual, either your flesh self or only your energetic, spiritual self, right? Now, yeah, you have to give Line credit because his point is, if you, as an individual, you say yourself and you define who yourself or who you believe yourself to be, and let's just use an example. Yeah, if I say, hey, like,
But his physical position.
Oscar,
Go
are you
ahead.
here?
Epistemological solipsism, obviously. This is
Thank
what
you.
anyone who's arguing for solipsism is arguing for, is epistemological solipsism. People who are arguing for metaphysical solipsism are like the same as people like arguing for last Thursdayism. It's more or less just a meme.
You can't
but-
even get what we're saying right is the
Okay,
problem.
let me respond.
For
I'm
like
done.
8 hours. It's just
Okay, so
constant
the only
commenting.
the caveat here is the word necessarily, right? You're hanging your whole belief system on one word. That's the only difference between metaphysical solipsism and epistemological solipsism, is the fact that it says here that the external world doesn't necessarily exist.
that's a good point.
You're hanging everything on one word. Can we at least define what necessarily means? Can you give me that?
It all boils down to the word no, right?
No,
To me, if I say I know something, that means different than when you say you know something. When you say you know something, you believe that you have access to God's ultimate knowledge of absolute truth. I don't believe that I have that. I believe that there is always room for me to be wrong about anything.
Well, do you know that you can actually take
lying.
a step? Hold on, you can take it a step further than
You're
what you
lying.
already have, right? Because solipsism can get worse. It can get
Why
to
are
the
you
point.
lying?
Why are you interrupting, bro?
Why are you? Because you're lying. Metaphysical solipsism is not what you just said. You just changed it. You
Dude,
lied.
all right, I'll post it in a second, but I'm gonna have to mute you temporarily just so I can talk, dude. All right, can I do that? Can you stay?
Go ahead and spread more lies. Go ahead.
I don't want to mute, dude, but I can't. I'm trying to talk without getting interrupted. Can you do that, please?
Go ahead.
All right.
Few more lies.
So, you know that you can actually get rid of the self.
I'm interested. I want to know.
Some traditions view the self also as an illusion.
Yes, that's why I said
Hold
like
on.
15 minutes ago that like you can't even really know, you can't say I'm having a conscious experience. All you can know is that a conscious experience is happening because you can't actually nail down what yourself is without presupposing it.
So you're not even certain of who you are and what yourself is. What you're saying.
Correct. And it's self-evident that you don't know what yourself is if you actually examine your experience.
That's all I want to say, bro. Go ahead. That's it.
Thank you for clarifying that, brother. I didn't.
You are metaphysical solipsist or not?
I think we're both.
Verify anything with you guys.
I can't get even the basics. I can't even get the basics correct.
If you don't know that other people,
If
if you don't know that you're the only person, or if other people exist, or this or that, how do you know that you've come to a proper conclusion that you don't know?
I am not a metaphysical solipsist. Stop claiming that
Yeah,
I am.
I know.
That's not what I asked.
Hold on,
I didn't ask that. Even as an epistemological solipsist, how do you know that? How do you know you're
I'm talking to the other
How do you know?
Lion. I'm talking lion. Lion.
That's
You
what you can't
acknowledge
answer.
that
How
I'm
do you
not
know?
a metaphysical solipsist.
Yes.
Can you stop saying that I am?
How do you know that?
It's semantic. It's semantic. You're hanging it all in one word. It's the word necessarily, which is vague because it says, but not necessarily that the external world doesn't exist, but it could still not exist.
You're still not getting it. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it.
How do you know that you're an epistemological solipsist? How do you know that?
I don't know it.
Charlie, you just gotta let it be, man. It is what it is.
Jesus
So he
Christ.
doesn't know it. He doesn't know it, but he's trying to defend the position and telling us that we don't know what he is when he doesn't know what he is. That's impressive.
I do know that these unique physical bodies exist. Not only mine, but others, because I.
Broadly, yeah.
I think you got it backwards,
Remembering
Charlie.
things here, and that my voice is very sexy, and so you just can't help but interrupt. But please keep it inside.
How do you know that? How do you know that's your voice?
Yourself while you listen to me, right? Just chill. So
You got it backwards, Charlie. You gotta come to
during the
first, not
process,
come.
Hold on, so the egg goes to
Hold on, dude. Hold on. Charlie, you have to stop doing that, bro. Talking about busting loads when you're incessantly interrupting everybody and then you project like everybody's interrupting you, dude. You're about to get timed out for at least 5 minutes, bro.
Everyone is
It's
interrupting.
unbearable. I don't care, bro. What you say? I don't need your insight, dude. Thank you.
Could everybody just stop interrupting him and let him answer the question, please?
I'm not interrupting anybody. You guys are the only ones interrupting me. But you, like a cock of a mod, you just bend over because he's on your side and let him do it. Anyway,
All right.
continue. So during the process of crossing over, right? When the genes of a father and the genes of a mother are crossing over, meaning at some part of the DNA, you can imagine as splicing them together, right? That's not an instantaneous process. That process takes time. During that time, one could be considered to be somewhere in between fully pregnant and not fully pregnant. That is what I mean by somebody being half pregnant. Like the process of conception has not yet finished, but it has started.
We got your point. Does anybody else want to go before me?
Yeah, that process is instantaneous. When the sperm and the egg can join, there's what's referred to as the spark of life, which is an instantaneous reaction. There's no time variable for that.
There is. Are you saying that it teleports in? Of course, it takes time.
It's like this flash, right? It's been recorded.
Not
Yeah,
a
I
flux,
know.
the release
not
of
the,
zinc.
not the entry. Yeah, it's not the entry of the sperm into the egg. It's the conjoining of the two as one, which is instant. And it's not just
instant.
it's not just zinc and this and that. Science themselves openly admit they don't have an answer as to how the spark of life takes place. It's the only time they account for God in science.
It's not instant.
All right, man. Then we're playing with semantics
Yeah,
now.
if it
How do
just
you know that,
takes,
Charlie? How do you know
It takes
that?
it's been measured. It's not instant.
It's been measured? How do you know it's been measured?
There's papers published on it.
Oh, so published papers is your arbiter of truth.
so if it takes any amount of time and
You
that
think
time
it's
is
a
divisible in any
Adam.
way, then it's not instant, right?
I think he means like instant, not like time wise. Like they touch at one single point in time, and there it all begins, right?
Yeah, he's trying to portray it as like this whole process that takes place, and it takes time for the egg and the sperm to hash things out and figure it out. That's not even close to the truth.
It's
Yeah, I
kind of
got
a splitting of hairs, but so is all the solipsism bullshit.
Sure. I get that. I came in.
That you can almost be pregnant through some weird conspiratorial, I don't know, paper that was published or something.
What?
Yeah, what happens, Charlie? Like, are you pregnant or are you not? Or are you saying there is a midpoint between 9 months?
What the fuck does me and pregnancy have? Why are you asking me if I'm pregnant?
No, I said.
How do you know you're not, though, Charlie?
Right.
Very funny. Very original.
Oh, okay.
Extremely original.
Hey, some people think men can get pregnant, so at least he knows that's not true.
But he doesn't even know if he's a man. That's why I asked. I don't know. We gotta
Oh,
follow.
really? Spaghetti. Actually,
Can I give some constructive criticism or constructive information about when the sperm meets the egg, they join together. They don't create anything. They have material in them. The sperm having half the material for the DNA and the egg having the other half, and they combine to make the DNA of that.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
So
Are you aware that the process takes time and it's not instant?
I don't know why this guy just talks through everybody. It's not over 9 months. It's over 10 months, and the DNA is not developing over 9 or 10 months. It's I don't want to say created, but it's established when the sperm meets the egg.
No, that
your
process,
code is written right then.
That process is called crossing over, and it takes hours. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not instant.
I didn't say anything about instant. And
you said the moment, right?
Yeah, when they meet, that is instant, brother. They touch.
Yeah, if that moment takes hours, I'm not sure how you know that, but when they touch, they combine, is what I said. Now, if that process takes hours in your worldview, then that's fine. But that's pretty, to me, to establish all that. Yeah, I don't think it is, but I can concede. I don't think I know either.
Wait, you don't think crossing over takes hours?
I've never heard the term crossing over in all my life when it comes to sperm and egg. But
then why are you making assertions about this topic if you don't know the?
Yeah, it's real.
Because I know certain things about it that
I posted it in the chat.
It's called combining, and half the information is in the sperm, and half the material and information is in the egg.
Yeah,
for those
what crossing over is.
For those that haven't ever seen this is
well. Then
amazing.
I am talking about crossing over.
Yeah, and that takes hours. It's not instant.
You can actually see the sperm fertilizing the egg, and there's a flash of light, a spark of light, dude. That occurs.
Well, dude,
they captured it on video.
So
then you would be. Then why is it on video, not on a picture?
Bro, the point is that you would not be pregnant until you were pregnant. So, like this whole mitigation thing, like, oh, it takes like this amount of time. Well, then you wouldn't be pregnant, then, would you? You'd be pregnant once the process has completed. So this is like what's the point?
Hold on a second. So hold on. Can you hold on? Can you repeat what you just said? Why is it on video and not a picture? This is the over quantification fallacy that I referenced last night. He oversimplifies or over quantifies things to the point of absurdity. And he's asking me, how come it's a video and not a picture? Because somebody used the word instant, and he expects it to be literally like instant. And if it's not literally instant, then it can't be instant.
He got screwed by the Y machine, dude. The Y machine got him, bro. He doesn't need to do that. Charlie, are you able to control your passions and desires with reasoning?
I'd like to think so.
You should demonstrate that.
Did you hear that change of voice real quick? I think so. But yeah, I think the point, Charlie.
I'm sorry.
No, what he's trying to say is a video probably is showing more detail and catching everything instead of like a grainy picture. I think
that's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about the duration. When I say instant, like what is instant to you, Charlie? A picosecond?
No, even a picosecond is a duration, right?
Right. So there's no such thing as instant.
Of course, there is such a thing as instant.
Not in your worldview, because you over quantify everything to the point of absurdity.
So let me ask you then. I guess not even a picture is a good example.
Demonstrate instant to us from your worldview. He's gonna go to quantum, spooky action at a distance. Is that where you're going, Charlie?
No, I'm actually trying to think of a good example.
That's the only example you got.
Yeah, I can give you quantity. Hold on, guys. Hold on. like this. I mean, that should be an instance, right?
The difficulty here is that really almost all things aren't instantaneous. Almost all things have some width in a timeline.
Well, now you're retracting your last claim then, is that correct?
Which
Hold on.
The claim that there's instant in your worldview.
There are instants.
Give us an example, bro. Come on.
As far as I'm aware, an electron being absorbed into a higher orbital level, for example, is instantaneous.
That takes no time at all.
So what's the duration in that? What's the duration?
As far as I'm aware, yes. It's instant.
See, this is ridiculous.
This
is absurd, bro. Literally, you've abandoned all reason and rationale and adopted some metaphysical framework that is absurd.
Is that the only move you have? Like, just
it's the truth,
like,
bro.
Oh,
it's the honest truth.
Oh, radical.
That's the honest truth, bro. Like a picosecond is 1/1 trillionth of a second, and even that's still not instant in your worldview.
Correct.
Yeah, so you're committing over quantification fallacy, bro.
Do you think hours?
You're fallacious. Your whole worldview is fallacious. All of it.
Do you think something that takes hours is instantaneous?
No, bro, but again, when you work with probability to the point of like decimal point to the 100th power, you lose all reason, capability, you lose rationale. So you've abandoned reason and rationale over an irrational, illogical, metaphysical framework that you have confidence to the point that you'll defend it to the death. Right now, you're defending it to the death. An irrational concept.
I can define it. An electron absorbed. And then my mic cut out. Could you repeat it again, Charlie? I'm sorry.
Repeat what, sorry?
You said an example of instantaneous would be the absorption of an electron, and then my mic cut out. My reception cut out.
I think you said it into a higher realm.
Into like a higher energy orbital in an atom or a molecule. As far as I'm aware, that's instantaneous. But
that's the only example you got.
On what scale of time? On what scale of time are you basing that it's instantaneous?
Again, it's instantaneous.
On what scale of time?
It doesn't have a scale. It's instantaneous. That's what it means for it to be instantaneous.
So it takes absolutely no time at all?
Yes, that's what it means for it to be instantaneous.
Yeah, are you sure about that? Are you 100% positive about that? Because you're saying that hours couldn't be instantaneous. What if I put it on a time scale of 1 billion years? Does an hour seem instantaneous on that?
I thought we were talking about using words strictly, like words like no. But again, if what you're trying to mean by instantaneous is negligible, then I'm going to go back to using the word no when I mean I believe something with high certainty, because that's analogous.
Well, instant is a description, isn't it?
Yeah, so is no.
What about time?
I thought we were being specific with our words here, right? Instant means no time at all.
So no time, so faster than light, because light is the fastest time you can get. So no time would mean faster than light.
That's not even true.
Let's go ahead and define instant real quick. We got it as an adjective, happening or coming immediately.
An event.
So I don't know how that could have no time, happening or coming immediately.
Define it to you very quickly.
Urgent. It could be urgent or pressing. An instant desire to blame others when things go wrong. A precise moment of time as a noun. A very short space of time. A moment. So that's how instant's defined. A very short space of time. Does that sound like no time passed, Charlie?
Again, that's an everyday definition of a word, just like how no is in common parlance defined as believe with high certainty, right?
You mean K-N-O-W? You mean K-N-O-W? Is that what you're saying?
Talking to you. You're so fucking bad faith, dude.
I thought you were saying no, like the opposite of yes. I'm sorry. I was trying to clarify.
You're too excited, Charlie.
Do you
your whole position.
Sorry, I was just going to say, do you at least agree now, Charlie, that someone's either pregnant or they're not?
No.
Well, that's stupid. What are you doing to yourself, man?
He abandons reason. That's why within reason.
Do you have anything to say besides
why are you?
Oh, you're crazy, Charlie. Oh, you're not reasonable, Charlie.
I'm sorry, guys, bro. But he's getting muted for 5 minutes, dude. I can't even get 2 words out. It's
and be moral. I don't agree with that.
No, I didn't say that. You can be moral and not religious. You can be moral and not believe in God.
Is it not? Isn't that the implication why you guys laughed at, what was it, secular moralism? What did you call it? Humanism, yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason, though. You have no reason for your morality.
That I think all these evil made this man, but I just don't see it that way.
It seems like you do, because you agree with me that you have the ability to disregard the morality that God gave you to be immoral. So, I mean, obviously, if you disregard the morality God gave you with your free will, bad things will happen. I mean, I don't know who doesn't think that.
Gods of old. These are the Anunnaki.
Come on, bro.
Its power, all that shit, right? There's others that we can't even mention because humans are capable that we don't.
They all kind of say they've all got a similar spiel, haven't they? And they all come in. I mean, I've argued with many of them over on 20.
It's in the chat. I posted it. His name's Ian McGilchrist, which is an interesting name. Oh, was it?
And then I can show you the complete opposite. I mean, what kind of God gave you this kind of morality, which you think, and it doesn't make sense because he did the opposite.